Hello again. It is the 28th of June, Saturday morning. Just going to spend a bit of time on Woodside. I've had a few people asking me why am I so keen on Woodside at the moment. I guess there's a couple of reasons. One is that it fits my psychological makeup of what I'm looking for in a stock, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. And secondly, because it is doing some things which suggest to me quite strongly that there has been a change in sentiment about this stock. If we go to the first one, I'll just go back a few years and just show you where Woodside has come from. So Woodside was sort of a $10 stock. How long ago is that? That's like 14, 15 years ago. Had a big fourth time frame uptrend all the way up to 70 odd dollars, and since then, from then through to about 18 months ago, it was clearly in a fourth time frame downtrend. What has happened that presses my button since then is it has since changed that fourth time frame downtrend into a fourth time frame uptrend. I like stocks that have been high, have come off their highs, and are now back in a long-term uptrend. The long-term uptrend is re-established. That's the kind of stock I like. It pays a reasonable dividend. So if we zoom in a little bit and just have a look at the last few years, you can see this is where it was coming down, this is where it went sideways, and this is where the trend changed. So from about here on, we have a higher low, a higher high, higher low, higher high. I'm just looking at the big arrows here. Okay, slightly lower low, and then the next big red arrow is going to be significantly higher again. Along the way, it came into this narrow channel, which again tends to often culminate in a strong breakout in one direction or another. In this case, the strong breakout was upwards, which again suggests strongly that the market has re-rated it for a period of time. You could pretty much guarantee that you could buy Woodside between about $37 and about $39. Now you can't get it for less than 41. If we zoom in a little more, you'll see on the breakout here, the breakout is generally, it's a good thing. It's a re-rating of the psychology of the stock. But then here about 2 weeks ago, we had a sudden plummet in the stock from about $43 to 41, and on big volume, a lot of selling happened in that day. This was on some bad news that was given to the market. Now, why do I still remain optimistic? Well, despite this large amount of bad news, which a huge number of people sold out on, and I'll zoom it in further, despite that, there's the volume. You can see the difference between 50 million odd volume on that day compared to what happens on a regular day. About 7 million volume is a reasonably big day, and then there's 50 million on that day when the bad news came out, and as I say, the stock plummeted. Despite that, we are still talking about big money in town paying $41 for the stock, even after the bad news, whereas a couple of months back, it was under this $39 level. So if the bad news had dropped it right back into here, that would have told us that the market had genuinely re-rated it and put it back to where it was. That hasn't happened. It has stayed above the breakout level. This was the breakout level here, about $39.50. And all I'm really looking for now is for a third time frame turning point above this one. So this one was, the low was $40.19. Let's just go through the mechanics of how that may happen in the next couple of days. So here we had a high, here was the prior low. So after the bad news, we had very definitely a lower low, followed by very clearly a lower high. Now, just at the end of last week, we had a higher low here. So to get another third time frame higher low, all that has to happen is for price to go up past this high point here at 41.87. So that could happen in any given day. Now, if that occurs, if we get price going up through there, that will confirm that we will have a higher low and a higher high, as that day will confirm it, which would then make this point here the third time frame turning point low, and that to me would be good enough to re-enter this stock. Does it guarantee that it won't fall back down below $39? Absolutely not, it doesn't. But what it does tell me is that the big money in the market is still prepared to bid this stock up despite this bad news here. So that's why I'm still personally interested in it. If it does do something along these lines, I will be trying to enter it around those points there, and I will then be putting a stop just probably at the drop back point, somewhere below the breakout level here. Let's see what happens. I hope that has been useful. I better remove that. Okay.